That breath isn't that bad, is it? What do you think?
This is a true story. It happened to a friend of mine, Osgood Toadworthy. Now, when I was a lad, shortly after the earth cooled, Osgood was an old man who pretty much owned the entire town. He owned our only factory, our only bank, our only everything. Even the undertakers. Dead or alive, Osgood Toadworthy was going to extract every last dollar from your wallet. You betcha. Not surprisingly then, Osgood was about as popular as a belching contest at a Sweet 16 party. People only put up with Osgood because A, he paid her salary, and B, well, actually there was no B. Osgood was just a boil on the butt of humanity. The only good thing you could say about him was that one day he'd be gone. Or so you might think. Actually, Osgood had a plan. You see, Osgood had so much money, he knew he'd never live long enough to spend it all. And the mere thought of someone else spending it, even after he was dead, made Osgood break out in a cold sweat. Oh, and those were the days before deodorant, my friend. At any rate, Osgood had this plan. You see, there were only two ways to make sure no one else got his money. One was to spend it all right away. The other was to live forever. Impossible, right? Not if you had the kind of wealth that Osgood had. Osgood put ads in every newspaper in the country. He promised great jobs for doctors and scientists if they'd come to work for him. He offered to pay well. Otherwise, how would he get top-notch scientists? What he didn't mention was that they had to work in his creepy fortress-like mansion. No one was allowed to leave until they discovered a way to make Osgood immortal. Working for Osgood in his mansion was like working for Attila the Hun in Frankenstein's lab. But okay, let's make a long story short. It took years, and Osgood was almost on death's door, but they finally came up with it. An immortality formula that was guaranteed to work. Oh, yes. Osgood got his formula. Terrific. Whoop-de-doo. But there was a catch. There's always a catch. You see, the scientists only worked out the formula in theory. The rare elements they would need to actually make the concoction, well, that would completely obliterate Osgood's fortune. His mansion, all the property he owned, even his whalebone girdle, all of it would have to go to pay for one dose of the formula. But immortality, I mean, come on! This was Osgood's dream. And besides, he had the whole rest of time to rebuild his fortune. You take the deal, right? Well, Osgood did. He sold everything he owned, right down to his underwear, to get those rare elements. So, the scientists, some of whom were seeing daylight for the first time in a decade, mixed up the elixir. Osgood drank it, and, well, burped. You were expecting him to turn into a vampire or something. No, he could still see his reflection in the mirror, only now he was immortal. So what if he was as broke as the guy who invented cheese-flavored gum? He'd finally achieved his dream. Little did Osgood know what he'd gotten himself into. Mind you, today, 92 years later, Osgood Toadworthy is still broke. And he doesn't look in too many mirrors. Why? Well, you be the judge. You see, the formula made him immortal, all right. But Osgood never specified that he wanted to stop aging. He's 172 now, and he'll just keep getting and looking older and older until he literally falls apart. This is a true story. It happened to a friend of mine, Osgood Toadworthy, who, surprisingly, has become the most popular person in our town's old folks' home. And not because of his personality or anything, oh no, but because, by comparison, he makes the rest of us feel so young.